Hello and Namaste. Thanks for listening. The other day I posted about going on a walk and turning it into a walking meditation, but I didn't explain in great detail what exactly that means to me and how I do it. So I thought I'd make a little audio recording, kind of do a little narration through it, and explain a really simple process that you can add all kinds of variations to. I call it the Hello Buddha meditation. It's called that because, and I can't quite remember where I heard this. It might have been in Inner Worlds, Outer Worlds. It might have been in another documentary style film about meditation in general, or some particular flavor, some particular school somewhere that I watched. But I remember very distinctly a woman saying, "Just say hello, Buddha, at everyone and everything that you see when you go about your business. That alone will open up energies and reveal understanding to you." So, whenever you do a meditation, you want to sometimes opt to pick an intention, something that you're not going to push for or chase after like a goal, but rather just declare for, part of the magic, I suppose, what the intent is. Today, and I like metta meditations in any variation, so today's Hello Buddha meditation is also a metta meditation, which means, to the best of my understanding, a meditation where you gather and sort of collect and empower the energy or frequency of unconditional love, and then project it and share it with others using energy visualization, or just generally sort of the focusing on unconditional love towards either a specific group or a specific individual or people at large. Because it's a walking meditation and it's about immersing oneself in the sensory process of just experiencing the world, and getting lost in that in a mystical way. The metta meditation, the sort of subject-object relationship is everyone and everything that passes the visual field, from the birds in the sky, the trees themselves, people driving in their cars, riding by on their bicycles. If I feel comfortable enough to just sort of chant it just loud enough for myself to hear, I say Hello Buddha out loud. Sometimes I say it very individually or distinctly, like, because a person catches my eye and I say Hello Buddha to them. But I don't usually wave, or sometimes I do, because there's nothing wrong with waving and smiling at people in real life. It's generally good. Smile at a person you've just, engendered or empowered or uplifted someone else to have positive energy, even if you don't believe in it. But with belief comes the leverage of, like, you're empowering it with your belief that you literally, in one way or another, however you describe it to yourself, you believe that smiling and waving and wishing well, broadcasting, I like to call, or literally visualizing, a beam of energy of giving a shit, of caring, of sending some love, energy, the highest order sense of those words, not the pettiest, at them, that you believe that there's some validity to that being uplifting and healing towards yourself and to others and to the world around you. And this is a sort of nihilist meditation where you drill into your own head that everything is the Buddha. You can replace that with Christ consciousness. Hello, Christ consciousness. Hello, Christ. Hello, Christ. Hello, Christ. Hello, Jesus, if you need it to be Jesus. The deity or the embodiment or the enlightened one or the name is interesting flavor, but you don't need all the trappings, right? It'd be nice to ring a bell. I don't have a bell. But when I don't have a bell, I jangle my keys. That to me signifies the ritual beginning of the meditation. And I greet myself, since this is the Hello Buddha, from here on out, the only words or the mantra I'm going to try to focus on allowing myself to say, because we all talk to ourselves when we go for a walk anyways, right? Might as well let that be the sentence instead of anything else. instead of I'm worried about my doctor's bill, instead of I hate my neighbor, instead of I hate this group or that group, Because we mutter and talk to ourselves and complain about things when we walk, and the purpose of making a walking meditation is to engage our body in the most direct and simple first exercise that we invented, that we discovered, and that's to walk somewhere and do it, hello Buddha, do it with intent and with focus and with conscious energy. And in this scenario, the way I present it, if I were to be considered the teacher, which I don't like to laud myself in any way, but if I am here teaching it to you, I posit that you set your intent is to feel the meaning of hello Buddha, I am the Buddha, hello Buddha, I am the Buddha, you are the Buddha. That's a variation that you can get into of just chanting that, variations of the greeting. I was rambling and letting my intuition flow, and I was doing it just loud enough that, if I were in New York, 15, 20 people would have heard me, right? But here, where I live, it's a lot lower density, although it's a large place. Nobody, I don't think, ever noticed. I thought they might have thought I was just talking on the phone, because I was looking at it and stuff. And when I do that, I look at the phone and I greet it, hello Buddha. And the reflection in the phone is me, hello Buddha, that's me, I am the Buddha, you're the Buddha, we're both the Buddha. We're all one. You can spin it into a intuitive chant, intuitive song. I got to a place where I was singing hello Buddha over and over again to the tune and rhythms of Hello Dolly. That was funny to me, and I burst out laughing. And then one, bless them for being there, one very humble-looking person, in my estimation, not that I try to judge or cast people, but probably homeless person sitting on a one of those bus things, looked at me and laughed, like, what a weirdo, because I just was singing Hello Buddha, starting to want to bust it out and sing it out loud, like I had earphones on and I was singing along to some amazing song I was in love with, and in my living room, right, in the privacy of my own house. But no, anyways, I caught myself and giggled and laughed and wept a little and felt very dislocated in place or time, in a way, and felt very strong, emotive, healing, throbbing, that's a very loaded word, but there was an energy sort of coming through me that I recognize at a very intuitive place as this is compassionate, jester, joking, fun love of being there to be sensitive to intuitive inspiration and let yourself be silly and weird, so that someone else can go, wow, I'm glad that embarrassing thing didn't happen to me, but also tickle their funny bone and make them love you and feel your love at them. And just that scenario, the fundamental human sort of scenarios of being around people and stuff. Those things happen. You have to just sort of surrender to those sorts of things. But if you are really controlled and focused, you can just say hello Buddha in your mind the entire time. I set my intent to just have fun and be free-flowing with it. I say a little hello Buddha to myself and the world, and then I usually try to chant Om Shanti, Metta Shanti Om Namaste, which is one of my sort of cobbled together. It's not quite original. It's not quite an original piece from anywhere, but it has a deep meaning to me, which I cover in other segments I'll probably dip into later, but I won't just this second. I drink my keys, and then I step outside, and I sort of generally hello Buddha the world again, and then I just go. So we're going to hear what that sounds like, I guess. See how far we'll take it. How far does it take you? For those wondering what the sort of general recipe is, if you don't walk to places, try this at your, local sort of oval loop that in the neighborhood. Places have little walking paths, little park or jogging route that you like, and just go for a walk when you have time on a Sunday in the morning, if you don't go to church, and just follow the general suggested thing. Let your mind wander. Always at the center of the meditations that I suggest to people is the following sort of set of assumptions, is that you're going to try to sit yourself, whatever that is, back and allow the body to autonomously proceed as though you know how to do this the way a dancer knows how to dance a dance. because you say, I'm rehearsing and the rehearsal is the performance and the performance is the rehearsal forever. So you just let your body do it. And if your body fucks up, or if your mind fucks up, or if your energy fucks up, or if someone disrupts you, no matter what happens, and you stop doing the meditation, you fall back into sort of ego in the front seat driving the truck sort of place. You stop and you forgive it all. And you tell it in your mind, in your energy, and in your soul, talkie space, I forgive this distraction, whatever you are, whatever it is, wherever it came from, and I ask you to go. And you let it go. And then you resume to the best of your ability as soon as you can. Never hurts to sort of stop and breathe through your fingers. If you know that advanced, actually it's a simplification I've done to a much more layered breathing technique, but if without knowing the chanting words that go with each finger, you can just touch your thumb, starting with any finger, really, and touch each finger and breathe there 3 times. 1 really slow breath in, and a really slow 3 breath, or 6 breath, or 9 count, 9 count, not breath, 9 count out, exhale. Whatever you play with variations there. Breathing and allowing your mind to resettle and silence the thing other than the chant you want to do, and feeling like you're sitting back and you're not really doing it. You're letting the movie that you're watching do it for itself. That's, sort of how you invoke the contemplative mind energy place or adjustment, I think. Having said all that and rambled longer than I intended to, let's go on a short meditation walk. Om Shanti Metta Shanti Om Namaste. Hello, Buddha. Hello, Buddha. Hello, Buddha. Hello, Buddha, the keys. That's a fun sort of variation, is to say hello, Buddha, the object that you're actually saying it to, or thinking it to in your mind. You don't have to do it in a funny voice, but I like to do things in funny voices. I find that that's actually very inner child liberating, therefore good towards a progressive slide towards a contemplative place. I stop at the threshold of my household and I sort of let the scene around me be taken in. And I say hello, Buddha, in my mind to all the weeds in my front yard that I got to weed whack, and I apologize for having to weed whack them. And I say hello, Buddha, to any people walking by, and I go. Any people driving by, etc. Hello, Buddha. Hello, Buddha. Hello, Buddha. Hello, Buddha. 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 Hello, Buddha. Of course, if you consider yourself socially awkward and don't want to wave at anybody, don't. You don't have to. Sometimes when it occurs naturally, I don't mind making eye contact with people, and I will literally say, hello, Buddha, and they won't know what I've said, but it'll look like I just played and said hi. And people will be like, hey, yeah. Because, human beings are allowed to say hi. No, they're human beings. There is no rule that says you can't. You must always be careful and choose and connect with people and their energy they seem to be exuding. So, it's not that complicated. But breathe slowly and gently. Hello, Buddha. Hello, Buddha. Hello, Buddha. Hello, Buddha. You get the gist of it. My walk today is going to be ridiculously long, so I'm not going to bring you along for the whole thing, but I might record segments along the way. Now, just keep walking and keep breathing and keep saying nothing else but hello, Buddha. Hello, Buddha. I don't know if that captured or not, but because I turned my phone down instead of up, somebody walked by me and instead of saying hello Buddha at them, I tipped my hat. I didn't literally tip it open because it's a soft sort of built hat, and if I try to tip it out, it'll just sort of look silly and awkward. But I, touched the brim and adjusted it, which some people just read as like I'm adjusting my hat, and some people read as like I'm being extra polite and old-timey and, quote-unquote tipping the hat at me. But I just said, hey. And I attempted to make sort of through the sunglasses, I'm looking at you, man, saying, hey. And he said, hello. And in my mind, I said, hello, Buddha, at him. And I chanted in my mind, you are the Buddha, I am the Buddha. We are both the Buddha. I'm not awake, you are not awake, but together we are awakening. Which is another mantra that I guess I sort of came up with or received. It came out of my mouth one day, turned into a meme that I made, because I wanted to acknowledge that all of this is procedural. We are in the process of awakening. And many people sort of get it's a place where the doubt and the sort of debate is one of the borders. Something's about to happen. And you get it from all camps. Most organized religions have a segment of their followers or their demographic that are very doomsday ready. You got secular doomsday populism going on in literature and in television and in the superhero world. So a general sense of like, oh, the world's ending. No. Everything ends. Everything's a cycle. Everything's cyclical. Everything's procedural. And we are in a place that sort of does have observable rules to use the word the way, physics and physicists might use the word. The rules aren't hard, unbreakable things, but rather propensities towards statistical, perceivable, consistent results with room for a wide array of known and unknown variables or variations. Energy matters, and not just nuclear energy versus solar or wind, but that does matter too. I don't want to get into the politics of that at this moment. In terms of meditation, a metta meditation is about generating love. And love has a lot of sort of pit-trappy concepts that are ego traps that are floating around in our general pop culture about love. That's not the kinds of love we're talking about. We're talking about love that radiates from the center of the divine consciousness, the kind of love that Jesus taught, the kind of love that all the prophets, Buddha, Muhammad, Gandhi, everybody who was ever an enlightened one, talked about, the cosmic energy of complete and total unconditional love. And that's what you're sending when you say hello, Buddha, at everyone and everything. And I mentioned earlier a visualization. I imagine a translucent, arcing beam of radiant, fractal-infused, glimmeried, make it very Hollywood. Something up the alley of, Ghostbusters energy type imagery, but more along the lines of chakra colors. And this is heart love, and it's divine love, so it's pure white. But I had a little pink to it to sort of, for the receiver, the receiving end, to sort of have a socially normal cue here in this language of like, oh, that makes me feel positive and love and warm and, in the highest sense, not in the basest sense. And I visualize it as vividly as I can while I'm walking at those who are just sort of part of the scenery. At that car, at this car, hello Buddha, hello Buddha, hello Buddha. Where does the energy come from? Well, love is the ultimate sort of ingredient in the cosmos. We just haven't intellectually discovered that yet as a society that is oppressed, whose industries and sciences are, if not outright totally controlled, very heavily influenced by the normative influences of an oppressive, dare I call them cult, of control that want to prevent enlightenment. The energy is everywhere. E equals MC squared is one of those, and the fact that Einstein himself said the universe is an illusion, albeit a very persistent one. In some of his deeper thoughts, he also said, notoriously, God does not play dice with the universe. No, he doesn't play dice with the universe. He plays statistical probability wave function manifesting singularities of cosmic creation, though. And we can delve into all kinds of interesting physics and mysticism to try to point that out, or explain that out, unpack the sentence I just said. But in terms of practical meditation, we visualize the energy being kind of drawn in through the top of the head, through the crown chakra and the third eye chakra, down through the other chakras, but kind of primarily going in, in the nadis. Don't forget about the nadis, the smaller filaments, the ley lines in the body that bring the prana or the chi energy down to other places in the body. Some visualize it as like a sort of thick honey that coats the insides of the whole empty vessel that is your human body as you're meditating. If you're into that high-level detail, sort of self-guided visualization, you can do that about yourself. But essentially, there is a bit of like quantum mechanical physics going on here with the human body. Everybody knows that the heart is to pump. It generates an electromagnetic field. The whole body is also sort of generating a toroidal system. And you can imagine that then this toroid of toroids, as any fractal would be, that there is a way for it to draw forth from, to use one group's arcane language, the ether, but from places either immediately around us in other dimensions, or from throughout the physical known plane, the energies that freely form it and operate it. We just can't perceive them quite clearly, or have not yet invented a system, a mechanical system of detecting. That sounds outlandish and borderline science fiction-y, and it can be used that way, of course. But there's some real truth to that. The universe is indeed all kinds of energy piled up on itself, wiggling around in deeper and deeper states of slow motion in order to manifest the objective part, the strong, solid particulate matter that we're familiar with, and the permanence, the apparent permanence of it throughout a cohesive system. But surrounding and inside of all of that, and also metastructurally in dimensional directions that are hard to talk about, but that you can intuitively sort of sense, there are other energy flows available, and of course there's some forethought that one choose, wisely to draw on positive energies. That's why this is about gathering unconditional love from the cosmos. No matter what your origin of faith, what faith origin, what context you come to this sort of kind of meditation, in practice, there's no violation of any of your principles, because you're focusing on drawing on God's love, whichever God you're into, and multiplying it in you, because that's one of the many spiritual energy sort of jobs that you have as a transdimensional being. And you yourself have, as the whole universe does, have at least 3 identifiable layers that are part of your whole experience that we dismiss as sort of thought-based only, but they are probably literal, energetic, manifestating, structures that are actually here. We just don't look at them very much. Chakras, etc. That's the bridge. The chakras are the place where that energy comes to be integrated with the flesh body and used and operated with and sort of transmuted again to be rebroadcasted. So you are capable of that, and you just are giving it a visual ingredient. The intuition will tap into, like that which it harmonizes, that is true in the universe, and help empower that visualization. Another theme that's always applicable in this particular meditation is the we are all mirrors for each other sort of meditation. In other words, conceptually, you can present the argument that each human body contains the same consciousness in an individuated facet, and that's what Jung was approaching and was trying to address with his deep psychoanalysis of an individuation phase when we are going through adolescence and through puberty and whatnot. And that as these individuals, we can also tap into the matrix of the visible and invisible processes or procedures going on around us to manifest reality and invoke their help in transmitting loving energy at everyone. And you just kind of soak up the visualization of energy entering you and then swirling it around in your chakras until you can broadcast it out through your heart. I always imagine a lotus, a white and rose-tinted, lotus blossoming opening when I'm choosing to broadcast. And continue to just send that out. Of course, you'll get distracted and start thinking about your taxes or about that girl you have a crush on, etc., etc. But the tactic always is to forgive and re-engage in the process. Slow down your breathing if it's accelerated. Accelerate a little bit if you think you're shallow of breath and not quite taking enough in. Make an adjustment so that you once again sort of feel couched in the rich sensory input and also a sense of detachment from all that sensory input. Like it's a vivid, surround sound movie that you're watching, and you can feel like you're walking, but you're really watching yourself do it in a way that's allows you to experience some communion with the aspects of you, the spiritual aspects of you that connect you to the rest of the energy process in the universe, the network of the human species, which is important to tap into and explore, I would suggest, because of it's one way to address, without further argumentation of the intellectual concepts of the problems of the world, it's one way to address and attempt to heal all the discord, disharmony, and division. If we really sort of tacitly try to pump this sort of kind of meta-loving, not just at individuals, but at all of them, understanding, conceiving of ourselves as a multi-frequency, multi-part, I like to use the term multi-harmonic. We have 3 chords. We're a 3-chord symphony of human being and process. And we're receiving and amplifying and broadcasting out energy throughout the entire network to energize and heal all of those component parts and procedures in order to benefit all of humanity towards a sort of inner self-liberation and a global enlightenment tipping point where the whole species kind of gets it and goes, aha, and starts sort of abdicating all the nonsense that we don't need to cling to anymore. Just keep doing that and see how it goes after a 15-minute walk in your neighborhood. I usually recommend coming home and sitting down somewhere, outdoors preferably, and sort of just breathing in and absorbing for a while. I think I'm going to end it there. I hope this has been an interesting exploration for you. Until next time, the Incorrigible Mr. Zeppo.